Hey everyone, we are in lesson number 2. All right, part of a whole as a percent. All right, so we're going to see a lot of this part, whole, percent, because that's how we use percentages. We find things like, hey, 35% of the people like this, or we found out that approximately 80% of the people will respond. So a lot of that percentage goes into that statistics, which is what a lot of corporations end up using so they can find trends and patterns. So let's look at a few different things that are here. We do want to realize that as we are talking about these, we have some key words. One of the key words is this word of. Of always results in the whole amount. So for example, hey, what part of the movie did you like? Of would be referring to the entire movie, and again, the part we're looking at there. Is always reflects or always deals with the part. All right. My favorite part is, all right, so you can think about it from that standpoint. So in this case, we see of 90, so that tells me 90 is the whole. All right. Of 56, hey, 56 is the whole. All right. 90% of a number. So who's the whole? Well, it's the number. Now, we don't know what the number is, so that's why we refer to it as someone like X. I don't know. But the is, which is the part, that's dealing with the 180 that we're after. So those are ideas that we want to be aware of. So this is a great one here as it kind of organizes things together. 40% of the students, the nice thing about the percent is there's going to be a percent symbol with it. So we can literally just kind of close our eyes and fill in that the percent's going to be 40. Now, obviously, we can't actually close our eyes, because if we close our eyes, then we can't end up seeing it there. All right. But here, what percent? Because I didn't see a percent symbol. Well, so that would be our variable. That would be our X. Who's the part? Well, in a scenario, it's not always going to be an is and an of always. We want to read into it and determine, like, what are they talking about? So 40% of the students on the field trip love the museum. If there are 20 students on the field trip, okay, there are 20 students on the field trip. That's everyone. So because that's everyone, that's going to be the whole amount, which means the part. All right, how many love the museum? We don't know. You get your letter. 40% of the students on the field trip love the museum. If 20 students love the museum. Okay, so not everyone loves the museum, so that's just the part that's there, which would make the whole amount, which, well, we don't know how many kids are on the field trip. So in the last one, 20 students on the field trip love the museum. Again, that's the part. There are 40 students. That's the whole amount. So those are the ideas that we're dealing with. And then this is how it all goes together. Part is always equal to the percent times the whole. So in Ty's math class, 20% of the students earned an A. There are 30 students in the class. How many got an A? Well, that tells me is I don't know how many got an A. I do know that there are 20%, and I do know that we have 30 students, so that is a multiplication problem. So yeah, this is where we will make use of our calculator, and it'll vary a little bit, but in the applications, we're pretty much going to use it. So I'm going to convert it to my decimal, and then I'm going to multiply it. All right, so we're going to get 6 when we do that. So 6 students got the A. So again, setting it up and then solving. So let's see here. In Ty's English class, 70% of the students completed an essay by the due dates. There are 30 students in Ty's English class. Okay, so remember, the part is always the percent times the whole. So again, in this particular case, they gave me the percent. They said there are 30 students. So again, it would be a multiplication problem. Again, we can change it to our decimal, multiply it by our 30 that's there. All right. So then, hey, 21. All right. So 2.1 that's there. Seems awkward. I mean, the idea is we could say about 70%. It could be rounding there, so I guess we would say then 2 students, right? Wait a second. Now this is where we want to check things here. Does this make sense? 70% of the students completed. There are 30 students in class. How many completed it by the due date? So this is where it's like, wait a second. If there's 30, but I'm saying only 2 of them completed it, that doesn't make much sense as I go through it. So we do always want to see if something does kind of make sense there. And it's my multiplication at the end. It's not that 2.1, all right? It is our 21 that is there. So that's something that we're going to be watching for. Whew. All right. So again, you're going to be able to catch things by filling things in. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Setting up who's the part, who's the whole. Here we go. Let's do one more. Zoe inflated 24 balloons for decorations at the middle school dance. Zoe inflated 15% of the balloons. Okay, so the idea here is Zoe did not inflate all of them, just part of it. So there's my part, there's my percent, times, I don't know what all of them were, so there's my excess there. So solving this equation, hey, I'm going to convert it to that decimal, which means we're going to divide both sides by that 1500ths. And yeah, we're going to reach for our calculator, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to type that in. 24 divided by 0.15. All right, oops, that's a multiplication sign, not a division. All right, there we go. 160, there we go. So, yeah, so we got that there's 160 balloons, all right, that we're working with. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with here, people. Part, whole, and realizing that multiplication problem there. So, that's it. We'll see you later. We'll get into more of it tomorrow.